Good afternoon, Malacanang Press Corps. Kasama na po natin ngayon si Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Salvador Panelo. Any statement, sir?
Good afternoon, MPC. The Palace welcomes, as it respects, the decision rendered by Judge Jocelyn Solis Reyes of Branch 221 of the Regional Trial Court of Quezon City on the decade-long case where 58 individuals, 32 of whom were media workers, were assassinated in Ambatuan, Maguindanao last November 23, 2009. The court has spoken and rendered its decision on the basis of evidence presented by both the prosecution and the defense. There were verdicts of guilty and of acquittal. It behooves the parties to respect them. There are those who view the judgments as just as having prevailed. There are others who have contrary views. Those who disagree with the judgments of the court have legal remedies under their disposal. Ultimately, it will be the Supreme Court that will give the final judgment. For now, what is important is that the rule of law has prevailed. We reiterate that the participation of the executive branch, considering that the case was pending for adjudication before another independent branch of the government, the judiciary, is defined by virtue of the principle of separation of powers with regard to the suit. Despite the aforesaid, we wish to commend our executive officials who were either involved in the case as prosecutors or were heavily interested in its outcome as protectors of press freedom and human rights for ensuring that the propriety and the integrity of the proceedings were upheld. The Maguindanao Massacre marks a dark chapter in recent Philippine history that represents merciless disregard for the sacredness of human life, as well as the violent suppression of press freedom. This savage affront to human rights should never have a duplication in this country's history. The incident is one of the factors that prompted the President to anchor his presidency on the preservation and maintenance of law and order in the entire country. With utmost regard to the right of press freedom, the President issued his first administrative order number 1, series of 2016, which sought the protection of members of the media from any act of violence, threat, or intimidation by, among others, creating the Presidential Task Force on Media Security. While the promulgation of judgment on the case is done, the narrative on the protection of media workers, however, is far from over. The President and the whole of government see this as a constant trial and is therefore still hard at work in building a nation where wanton acts of violence can be prevented so that any intention to threaten our democracy will not prosper even at its inception. The Chief Executive assures us of his absolute obedience to the constitutional command to serve and to protect the Filipino people, even at the sacrifice of his life, liberty, and honor.
Okay, question, MBC. Yes, Joseph.
Sir, what does it say about the government's protection of the press freedom, sir? Does it have any implication? What does it show in terms of impunity and those kinds of stuff?
Well, it means that the government, and for that matter, any government, will have to do its utmost to protect those who not only uphold press freedom but exercise the same.
Follow up? Or other questions? Yes, Pia. And then Joyce after.
Sir, what was the president's reaction to the decision of the QCRTC?
I haven't talked to him. I don't know if he's already awake by the time because that is sleeping time.
So, hindi po inabangan ni Presidente
Ano,
yung promulgation, sir?
yun is sleeping time. How can he? Last night we were so late again. He was so tired. I noticed him. He was very tired because there was 3 events. And past midnight na naman kami natapos.
Pero despite this, sir, how do you think the President, or how does the President regard itong araw na ito, how historic this day
Well, as
is?
like you said in the statement, he welcomes that decision. Well, you know what is important to this president, being a lawyer, is that the rule of law will always prevail. We cannot be ruled by a lynch mob.
Next, Joyce.
Sir, how will this contribute to the legacy of the president, knowing that the decision was handed down during his term?
How will it what?
Contribute to the legacy that he will leave behind.
Well, you know, I don't know about that. As I said earlier, this is a different branch that acted on the case. And as we are wont on repeating, this president never interferes with any of the co-equal branch of government. What is important to him is whatever constitutional task is given to every branch, any of the 3 branches, will have to be obeyed. And as far as he's concerned, the command of the Constitution to him to serve and to protect the people, he will always follow, not only to the letter, but even at the risk and sacrifice of his life, liberty, and honor, as he repeatedly says in every opportunity he has to the Filipino people.
Next, Julie.
Sir, when we discussed this Maguindanao Massacre promulgation, I think last Tuesday, you said that you have not talked about the pending promulgation with the president at the
No,
time.
we didn't
But
talk
then
about
yesterday, were we able to discuss the scheduled promulgation today?
No, what was discussed was the water issue.
Sir, can we have like a gauge of how
I
interested
will ask him.
the president is in
I'll
this?
ask him when we meet today.
But before, yung mayor pa siya ng Davao when it happened, are you aware kung ano yung level of interest niya sa Maguindanao Massacre nung mayor pa lang siya?
I don't remember we talking about it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, other matters? Yeah, follow up, please.
Secretary, just curious, as a
Yes.
former counsel of the Ampatuans, what are your thoughts? Just curious about that. What
None,
are
as
your
I
thoughts
said,
about this
as I
rule?
said in the previous hearing, whatever I say might be misinterpreted or maybe given, so I'd rather not.
Briefing, you mean?
I'll just let, as I said, the court has decided, and we have to respect.
I think there are statements from the other side saying they're planning to appeal yung ruling.
Well, the remedies, as I said in my statement, are all available to all of them.
So
In all cases, those who disagree will have to raise that before higher courts. And ultimately, it's the Supreme Court that will have to render the final judgment.
Okay, thank you, Sec.
Okay, other matters? Joseph.
Sir, you mentioned something about you guys discussing the water concessionaire agreements last night.
Yes.
Any updates, any announcements?
Still the same position he made earlier.
Will there be a meeting or talagang wala na yan, sir, with executives?
Last night, I think he repeated that he still want to talk with those who involved, the lawyers, of the government, the private lawyers. He said, I still want to hear why they allowed this kind of treason against the interests of the Filipino people.
And these are the government lawyers, the senators, who
Private
the
lawyers,
private lawyers,
whoever were involved during those times, at the time,
water company officials, sir.
with the people involved, all the people involved.
So he wants to meet with the executives of Maynila and Manila Water.
Wala siya sinabing he wants, kasi sinabi niya, I want to know the reason why they allowed this kind of provisions.
Okay. You said you're going to announce something.
Sabi niya, he will either rise or fall with this issue. Iniulit niya.
Anong ano
Just
si
focus on
January
this.
6?
Sabi niya, hindi siya papayag na walang mangyari sa kaso nito.
When he says that, what does he mean?
Yeah. Let's wait. He said he will make an important announcement on January 6.
But that announcement is ready already. No? You're just waiting for
I don't
January
know
6.
kung ano. Siguro i-discuss pa sa cabinet.
Announcement with regard to the...
Whatever. Regarding the water issue.
Okay.
Follow-up, Ace.
Sec, when the president said he will rise or fall with regard to the water issue, what did he exactly mean by that?
Actually, those are my words. He will
Okay.
rise and fall.
Okay, okay.
Ang parang pagkasabi niya, I do not know whether I will survive this, but I will not allow this to happen. Parang yun ang sabi niya. I think what he meant is he will not step out of the presidency without resolving this issue. Yun ang ibig niya sabihin.
Will the meeting with the company officials and state lawyers involved in the water concession deals happen before January 6?
Ay, hindi ko alam. That I do not know.
Kasi he plans to make an announcement on January 6, so hindi ba parang mas logical yung usapan bago yun?
Hindi ko alam. I'm not sure of that.
But can you give us a general picture of what he will say? At least yung, is it about
Hindi,
contracts? Is it
I
about...
think you can be assured that the stand of the president remains unchanged. Kung ano yung mga sinabi niya na, yun pa rin.
Will it be a major policy shift?
Huh?
Will it be a major policy shift or rescinding contracts or what?
I will not preempt the president because I asked permission to issue, sabi niya. Wag muna.
Okay. Salamat, Sec.
Other questions? Yes, Pia.
Sir, during the President's speech sa AFP anniversary noong Tuesday, the President lumped the New People's Army with the Abu Sayyaf group and other terrorists. And he also ordered the soldiers to crush the NPA para matapos na ang problema ng mga Pilipino. So, does that mean that the government will no longer pursue peace talks with the communist group?
Not necessarily because the president, as we always hear him, he always leaves a space, the window ajar for any peace negotiation with them. But he will not allow the attacks, the assaults against our forces. That is why if they attempt to do that, the order is to crush them.
So tuloy pa rin, sir. What is the status po of our efforts to revive peace talks with the CPP
According
and
to
PA,
John
sir?
Masison, if it's here, he doesn't want it. But as far as we're concerned, if you're sincere, venue is not important.
Sir, the government has been questioning the sincerity of the CPP and PA into going to peace talks with the government. Itong sinabi ni Presidente to crush the NPA as well as yung mga iba pang mga kalaban ng gobyerno. What does it say about the sincerity of the government into negotiating with the communist groups,
The
sir?
president has always been sincere. He always opens talks. But the problem with the other side is they keep on attacking our forces. So you cannot be sitting idly and watch them terrorize or kill our own people. Kaya ayaw niya yun. Pero despite that, ako open pa rin kung gusto nyo pag-usap. Usap tayo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next question. A follow-up. Wax.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, follow-up lang dun sa question ni. How about sa unilateral ceasefire with the Red, sir? Nakapagbigay na ba ang AFP ng ano kay Pangulo kung may
Well, as far as I know, ayaw nila.
Walang ceasefire with the Red, sir?
Meron na silang statement na ayaw nila ng unilateral ceasefire.
So that will be followed by the President, sir.
Hindi ba usually he follows the recommendation of the people on the ground. He has not made any comment on that, so I suppose.
Will he be giving an official declaration, sir?
Hindi ko
The
alam.
President.
I'll ask him.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, MPC? Yes, Joyce.
Sir, baka lang po may comment kayo. Isang documentary ng Nat Geo ang na-shortlist sa Oscars and it tackles about the war on drugs. Sir, yung excerpt nung synopsis, it covers both sides of the conflict. Nightcrawlers reveals a harrowing twist behind Duterte's deadly crusade. It's about what they tag as the deadly crusade of President Duterte. Shortlisted sa Oscars po.
As well, Oscars?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's an independent body of international experts on cinematic film. Yeah, so we'd rather not. In other words, it's not our turf. They let them judge on the basis of whatever standards or guidelines they have imposed on them.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Julie, follow-up. Or other question. Mike, please.
Sir, the documentary is about the president's drug war, and it's about photographers and journalists following the drug war at night. Basically, yung mga napapatay. Given that it's been shortlisted for the Oscars, how does the palace feel about this? Does it mean that credible yung whatever claims are made in the documentary? Or are you okay with it being shortlisted in an international body?
I think the judgment on a particular movie or film is based on certain criteria, not necessarily the truth. It's how you depict how the producers do their films. Iba naman ang, di ba, pareho rin yan. Gaya ng mga fiction. May nananalo, hindi naman totoo. So I don't think it has any relevance.
You're not bothered at all.
Oscar is movie yun eh. Meron din tayong docu, di ba? We have our own docu. For all we know, baka makapasok din yun pag inilabas.
Other questions? Yes, Prince.
Sir, good morning. Sir, can I just get your reaction to the PCIJ article, sir, on the President's SALN? The article read, cabinet officials interviewed by PCIJ say that it would have been best if the President had agreed to release his 2018 SALN. Quote, the optics are really bad, unquote, says one official. Quote, the negative perception will be there that perhaps he is hiding something, unquote. The problem is napikon ata. Another official agrees that the President's refusal to release his SALN could indeed be misconstrued as giving the lie to his own FOI edict.
I think that issues have been raised during the last press briefing and I've already responded to them.
Sure,
And I will not repeat them.
Is there a need for a loyalty check, sir, on the President's
I
cabinet?
said I will not repeat what I said. I have responded to those queries earlier.
Thank you, sir.
Other question? Other issue? Yes, Nestor.
Secretary, may I just have your reaction? The U.S. House of Representatives has formally impeached President Donald Trump on charges that he abused the power of his office for his political advantage.
In the same way that we react on any intrusion into the processes of our government, we'd rather not make any comment on that. other than saying that in the same way that impeachment in this country is decided on the basis of party affiliations, siguro ganun din sila.
Thank you, sir.
Follow up, other issue. Other issue. Yes. Kathy.
Sir, can we get the palace's reaction on a pre-election survey showing that the Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte and President Duterte emerged as the top bets for president and vice president po for the Visayas and Mindanao voters in 2020? So ano pong...
I'm not surprised. That has been done before in the city of Davao when both of them run as mayor and vice mayor.
But sir, is the president willing to run again for another national post?
Whether he wants to run again, that's his call. But that has been the emerging idea. Amongst people that there should be a Duterte tandem in the next presidential elections. The president is not prohibited from running as vice president.
Pero sir, is the president aware of this Duterte tandem for 2020 elections?
I told him last night, and he smiled.
So is there a possibility na pakinggan niya yung clamor of the people to run again?
If you speak of possibilities, then it's limitless. Lahat pwede lahat yan.
Okay. Next question, Wax. Follow up first.
Sir, pero di ba laging sinasabi ni Pangulo, pagod na siya, gusto na niya magpahinga. So,
Di ba noon, ayaw din yan tumakbong presidente.
therefore, sir, even if pagod na
So
siya,
depende siguro. If circumstances require him to run, he might.
he might brush
He
off his
might.
pagod.
He
Ganun.
might. He might. Dati na nga siyang pagod, di ba? Nung tumakbo siya, ayaw niya na eh. Ang dami niya nakareklamo eh.
Sir, pwedeng pakibuo lang natin yung statement
Ano?
na even if he's complaining that he's tired, he's not gonna stay a minute longer.
Let me put it this way.
Okay.
Election is very far from his mind. Running for any office is far-fetched at this time. His focus on his constitutional duty to serve and to protect the people. Until the day of his term, he will do it with passion, with dedication, and no force on earth or organizations or persons can stop or impede him from doing such tasks assigned to him by the Constitution.
But even if elections are far from his mind, at this point, what circumstances might push him to run for vice president with his daughter?
Those are speculations, so we will not respond to speculative queries.
Follow up, other issue, Wax.
Sec, yung last time na tanong ka namin about yung plans ni Presidente for the holidays.
Sabi niya, he will just be with his family, with his grandchildren, as he usually do.
Will he be working sa 24, 25, or bahay lang po raw siya?
Siguro. Di ba last time, ganun din ang ginawa niya. Binabalabas mga pictures, nilalaro niya lang yung mga apo niya. Siguro ganun din.
Okay. No more questions, MPC? Thank you very much, Secretary Salvador
Thank
Panelo.
you.
Balik po tayo sa Radyo Pilipinas at People's Television Network.